help. Some positive talk, though, out of Washington. With millions of Americans desperate for help during the pandemic, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying both sides need to get a deal done with the clock ticking on this Congress. Listen here.
There is momentum. There is momentum with the action that the senators and House members in a bipartisan way have taken with them. We'll take the time we need, and we must get it done. And we must get it done by before we leave.
Let's bring in White House Senior Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow. He's out in the North Lawn, where I typically am. Larry, it's good to see you there. Where is all of this heading with the coronavirus relief bill, and what might it look like? A figure of $908 billion has been talked about. The Democrats coming down off of their $2.1 trillion demand. But as we know, when you get to negotiations, these things always tend to creep up.
Well, there's nothing holy about these top-down numbers. Let me just say that. I'm glad they're closer, but as Senator McConnell has said, he's not ready to sign on to the package. Look, I think the individual policies, John, and the targeted policies are what really counts. I mean, I think there should be additional assistance to small businesses, the PPP program. I think there should be assistance for unemployment. We've always backed that. There should be assistance for states and localities if it's COVID-related, let's say school, K through 12. Those are areas. There's got to be some improvement on the liability shield, which is important. Mr. McConnell's talked about that. President Trump completely agrees. We do, certainly. And those things have yet to be determined. So it's not so much the top-down number. Now, let me make this point. You gave the read-in on the California shutdowns or restrictions, okay? With respect to my friend Gavin Newsom, and he is a friend, I think that this is a mistake. We believe, and our experts believe, we should keep businesses open and we should keep schools open. And with respect to the ICU measurement, which is not something we've heard much about, our CDC people, Ambassador Deborah Birx and so forth, we have teams that can go in and take care of any issues regarding hospitals and or equipment. We can target those areas. Now, I'm not going to say no restrictions at all any place, but nonetheless, we don't want to end businesses. We don't want to throw more people out of work. It doesn't work, by the way. You still have to use the guidelines, okay? Distancing and masking and hygiene. John, those are the way to deal with this, and our team can target it. And look, help is on the way.
We'll be talking more about what to do with Jerome Adams, the Surgeon General, coming up. Let's talk quickly, Larry, if we could,
about... The vaccine is weeks away, John. Yeah. The vaccine is weeks away.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, no question. It's just a matter of how long is that tunnel real. Let's talk about the jobs report. 245,000 jobs added. Unemployment dropped to 6.7%. Part of the reason it did drop, even though there were fewer jobs added than was expected, was because some people left the workforce. But when you look at this number, which Joe Biden says is, quote, dire, is that going to get worse if we have big states like California shutting down?
Well, there's a risk of that. I can't deny it. We haven't seen much restraint yet, but there's a risk. And I think you're going to get a spike in the virus over the holidays. But again, I think there are better ways to deal with that. Now, look, today's number, 6.7% unemployment, is a heck of a good number. And people say, well, it's because everyone's leaving the labor force. That is not true. If you look inside the household survey, from which that number 6.7% is derived, there's something like 480,000 private jobs were added. 480-something thousand private jobs. That's very healthy. And let me add, all the minority groups, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, they had the biggest drop in unemployment, and women had a huge drop in unemployment. And if you look at the whole panoply of information from the economy, John, retail sales are strong, autos are sale, capital goods, durable goods are strong, housing is strong. And I've got one for you, this being the holiday season. One of Wall Street's top economists, Ed Hyman, has a Christmas tree survey. He surveys all these Christmas tree companies around the country, and through November, that is up 29% year on year. So Christmas tree purchases are booming. That's a great leading indicator.
It's because when people are staying home, they want something to brighten up the season. Larry, we'll see if the economic numbers do hold, but there do seem to be signs, and I know you were talking to Stuart Varney about this morning, that the economy might be softening a bit. So we'll see where this goes and how long that tunnel is.
Jobs are the toughest nut.
Yep.
We've lowered unemployment by more than half. I don't deny that there's more work to be done, and if we do have targeted assistance, we should help those folks because there's more hardship. I agree with that. But on the whole, this is a V-shaped recovery. I stand by that, and I think the data show that.
We'll see if you're right when history tells the ultimate tale. Larry Kudlow, always great to see you. Thanks for making it out to the lawn for us.